everybody? You know who it is. It is your allies behind enemy lines, Ryan and Joey, coming at you thoroughly behind enemy lines, holding it down in Cowboys territory for all our Washington football fans. I'm here in Dallas, Joey down in Austin, holding it down for everybody as best he can in Central Texas. If you're checking us out here on YouTube, make sure you have that notification bell rung and that subscription button pressed. And so that way, as soon as we drop the latest and greatest heat, you are notified. Check us out anywhere you can find your podcast: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Also, check us out on SoundCloud by searching Allies Behind Enemy Lines. Make sure you like, rate, subscribe, review, tell a friend, tell family, all that good stuff. Joey, sounds like everything's going well over there. We got some big news, big show, a lot of stuff to uncover. I know it's going well, but I'll ask you anyway. How is your week going, my friend?
It is going well, and I said we're going to do it if we made some free agency moves here. So we're going to start off with that victory trombone, and we're going to blow it. We're going to blow it like we've never blown anything before.
Yes,
because
sir.
I think I am doing great. You know, it's been a good week. The kids have been good here on spring break, and I've got to be able to keep up with this free agency frenzy, if I can talk. And yes, it's been good. You know, so things are looking good, and I'm excited to see what this does to the development of this young team. So it's an exciting time to be a Washington football team fan.
I know that's right. Yeah, we got all sorts of stuff going on. So let's just get right into it. The biggest one that we can talk about is yesterday we signed, or 2 days ago on Wednesday, we signed Curtis Samuel to a 3-year, $34.5 million contract, which was one of our top targets we both wanted. Obviously, once the Patriots snagged up both tight ends we were after, we kind of set our sights there. So, I mean, this guy is a weapon. And I mean that. I don't just see him as a wide receiver. He's an offensive weapon. We can line him up in the slot. We can line him up out wide. We can line him up in the backfield, much like Carolina did last year with him. So this was a great signing. Gives us some, another dynamic weapon to pair next to Terry McLaurin. And I mean, this is probably best case scenario as far as one of the top guys we wanted to come into this season and sign in free agency.
I mean, I said it. If you for those who listen to this show, and if you probably remember, I've been saying it since we played the Panthers.
Yeah.
And since I saw what he did to us against the Panthers, and versus what Steven Sims did in the Panthers game. You know, at that time we were like, he made a big fumble that changed the course of that game, and had some drops in some key spots, and so we were like at that point we were like done with them, empty. At the same time, we see this young guy who I guess I didn't know. I guess I'm hearing lately that Ron Rivera tried to trade for last year. You know, really? But Marty Herney didn't want to let him go. And so funny things are now we got Marty on our side. Someone obviously both guys valued him as they were playing a tug of war with him last year, and this year we got him without having to give up anything. You know, other than obviously his contract. Last year we were probably offering draft picks or something like that, of that nature. So we end up getting the guy. As I think you set out to me, and as you know, everyone that's following this story knows, Terry McLaurin's old teammate. They dreamed about this in their freshman dorms in college. So Ohio State, we got Chase Young, who's obviously approving of that as well. So we got the old tandem there. Is I think Kyle Brandt said it best on Good Morning Football this morning. We have the old man and the speed. On offense there, so I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely have to consider changing the name to the Washington Crimson Buckeyes or something like that, because between all the Bama and Ohio State fellas we got on here, it's definitely looking that way, which I don't hate. But yeah, huge signing, gives us another weapon, like I said, and just a guy that, it's funny, we talked about kind of when we were going over the draft stuff, like when you watch somebody in college, you kind of learn their game and kind of know what you like and dislike about them. Well, when you see a guy absolutely torch your team in a game, it's like, hey, I would love for that guy to be playing for us and not against us and doing that. So I'm super excited. I'm looking forward to it because he is very, very susceptible to having just huge games where he's putting up, 150 plus all-purpose yards, a couple touchdowns. So I mean that added weapon is going to be huge. Another big signing as far as kind of the shock value. Ryan Fitzpatrick, we signed to a 1-year, $10 million deal. Doesn't really address the quarterback position for the future. I had to talk Joey off the ledge a little bit. He was ready to go over to the 6th Street Bridge and jump off head first and take a dive with all the bats out there in Austin. But or is it 6? No, what is it? Is it Lamar Bridge? What's that bridge out there?
6th Street Bridge.
Is it 6th Street Bridge? Okay.
Oh, no. 6th Street is the 6th Street is the music. You're thinking of
Music. What's the
Congress. You're
bridge?
thinking of
Congress.
First
Congress.
Street,
Yeah.
Congress or First Street. Those two bridges are right there. Either one of them I
Yeah.
could plunge off of after I heard that. So.
Yeah, he was in full like just burn it all down because obviously this was before the Curtis Samuel signing. He was ready to just burn it all down. He wanted Ron Rivera gone. He wanted everybody gone. Not really, but those the knee jerk reactions, and Joey was all against everything. I was a little bit more reserved. Like, hey, look. 2020 was probably his best year. When Miami benched him for Tua, he was playing really, really well. He's going to give us what we've lacked the last few years, and that's a downfield, taking shots downfield. Terry McLaurin is more than capable of taking the tops off offenses down the field. Now, are we going to get Fitzmagic? Are we going to get Fitztragic? Now that's going to be a week-to-week thing. We'll have to see going into it, but it does make this offense a little more explosive than it's been these last few years with both Alex Smith and Dwayne Haskins. You can throw Kyle Allen in there, but at least the opportunity to be more explosive is absolutely there for us. And so I don't hate the pick. Again, it doesn't do anything for our future at the position. You said it's, I was like, well, maybe he's coming in just as an insurance policy to Heineke, but you said, are you going to give the insurance policy more money than the starter? But at the same time, one guy's a little more proven than the other. So who knows? I'd like to see him just absolutely battle it out in training camp, and may the best man win. But the Washington football team definitely did kind of just kick the can down the road when it comes to this quarterback position and finding a solution long term.
Well, as you said, I was up in arms immediately. When I saw that, I mean, you texted me and I saw it almost simultaneously because I've been watching, I've been watching this free agency tracker all, week long. So obviously, in my mind, it's what you wanted and what you expected versus what you get sometimes. And sometimes when those don't line up, it's an instant shock. And I definitely, using you as my Washington sounding board, expressed that instant shock. You know what I mean? But as you said, as I thought about it a little bit more, what really were our options? I think I had mine tied up in this pipe dream of either getting Sam Darnold or Deshaun Watson or someone younger. That we could, that way we're kind of checking that box for the foreseeable future. And so when I did not get that, obviously I reacted the way I did. But as we think about it more, it's we weren't getting Sam Darnold. They're not trading him right now. And as it's been said lately as well, I've been reading more, is fans and people like me value Sam Darnold a lot more than offensive coordinators, and people that are evaluating him value Sam Darnold. And it was been quoted by one of the offensive coordinators saying, he stinks, bro. You know what I mean? So if that's what the thought is about him, maybe we dodged a bullet there and having to acquire, sign a big contract for somebody and missing again there. So if you take that out of the situation, obviously Deshaun and Russell, going on, take those out of the situation. There wasn't a lot of options of anyone that's going to come in right now. And I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is the best of those options. Better than Mariota. I think injury prone. He's a tank. He runs through people and he's durable. He stays out there unless you pull him. And like you said, someone's going to get the ball down the field. Someone that's going to, press that, make those gunslinger type throws. And, he's going to be playing with the best defense he's ever played with. And he's definitely, as you said, in that state of mind now where he wants to win. He's coming out here to win. He's not coming out here to collect a paycheck. And, we still have Taylor Heineke. We always said we're going to bring one more person into the fold anyway before the draft. So this is the name. It's not a terrible name. We didn't spend, back up the truck to him anywhere. And I think this is a great move, now that we think about it. Someone that it's going to bring excitement to our team. The excitement factor. He's someone that people, I think Mike Gesicki was quoted as saying, after playing with Ryan Fitzpatrick last year, that I would play for this guy for the next 15 years. What he makes other players better. He made me better than who I am. You know what I mean? So you get someone like that, who's someone I've always talked about, Alex Smith being like that. So you get someone like that that's more durable and that's going to be able to move around and sling the ball farther down the field. I'm all in on that. So I definitely, as I said, the initial reaction was terrible. And it doesn't rule out the possibility of still drafting somebody late and developing as well and having him maybe battle out Kyle Allen as, the number 3 quarterback, or Taylor Heineke, who we don't know how it's going to pan out. So a lot of options still there, but I really like, I've got the Fitzmagic feeling. And I think that he, having that added weapon of Asante Samuel, I think that, it's time for him to go cook and let's see see the true Fitzmagic here in Washington.
Yeah, but we have Curtis Samuel, not Asante.
I keep saying Asante. I'm going to say it all the time. That's just Asante Samuel.
But no, I mean, I think you hit a lot of good points there, and one thing too that we always mentioned last year with Alex Smith or Dwayne Haskins, whoever it was, is they didn't really give us a good chance to come from behind and win. I think Fitzpatrick does give us that chance. Now he also has the opportunity to put us behind, right, with those interceptions, and that he seems to be very susceptible to throwing, but he definitely does give us a chance when we see that Fitz magic working to bring us from behind and win games late.
He does, and the one thing I can add, I think it was Shannon Sharp that said, I don't know if you saw his take on the situation after we signed him, and it's true, and if you hear it, it's almost one thing that Shannon Sharp said that I almost 100% agree with, and he said Ryan Fitzpatrick is great, when you put him in a situation and when you have no expectation for him,
yeah,
that's when he exceeds. It's like you expect nothing, he gives you more, but when you start expecting something out of Ryan Fitzpatrick, that's when he falls on his face. And I think that's the best way to put it. I think he encapsulated that perfectly when it comes to what you kind of think about him. Is like, he's good. And then like, all right, here we go. We got Fitzmagic. And then right when you think that, and right when you're expecting to see it that week, it's tragic.
Gone.
It's tragic.
Yep.
So that's the one. I guess that's the. I think Shannon Sharp for putting that out there, putting that so eloquently. But yes, that's what I think that he encapsulates that completely of how how we feel about him. So let's just hope we get that. Let's not expect anything from him. Always have that expectation that we're going to get Fitztragic, and maybe we'll always get Fitzmagic.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think anything would have been a bit of an upgrade from last year. So as long as we go in there with that positive mind frame of like, hey, look, it's going to be some bad, which we've already been through plenty of bad, but there's also going to be some good. So like you said, just kind of keep your expectations neutral. Don't expect too much, because that's when you kind of get in trouble with the Fitzpatrick, backing Fitzpatrick. But another signing that was really big for us, I mentioned I wanted a corner. I think that was going to be one of the biggest targets. We signed William Jackson to a 3-year, $40.5 million contract from the Bengals. He was a guy that wasn't on really either of our radars. I didn't know how much interest there was in him as far as Washington goes, but all things that I've been reading and seeing is that this is a huge signing for Washington. He is, a big, long body that they said can probably go out and defend a lot of number one wide receivers. So it's like having two number ones with him and Kendall Fuller. So, I mean, when's the last time we had anything close to that? We thought we were getting that with Josh Norman. Definitely didn't. We thought, way back in the day, a Rashad Breeland type might be able to be a guy like that. But if we talked about how much better could this defense get? Well, guess what? This defense just got better by adding another lockdown, shutdown corner opposite Kendall Fuller. And Kendall Fuller's a guy that kind of likes to work out of the slot anyway. So if we do need to put William Jackson on the number one and let Kendall Fuller work out of the slot, that's fine too. So, I mean, we have some versatility there on defense in the secondary, which is great. When was the last time we had a lot of versatility back there? Now we do. And so it's so far so good, man. It's Pro Football Focus, they have Washington listed as pretty much the top team to put in short term, is the team that's improved the most thus far via free agency. It was New England, obviously, for the first couple days, and then after the Curtis Samuel signing, that shot us from number 2 to number 1. But the William Jackson signing really put us on there, and so I'm looking forward to seeing this guy suit up and get on the field for us and add to this dynamic and just ruthless defense.
Yeah, and I threw up that exact chart that you sent over here on the screen right now for everyone that's watching on YouTube to see, and you can see there. And basically, what they're saying here is that they're ranking that based off wins and losses and about improvement for our wins next season. I think the Patriots still are number 1 for the overall improvement of their dynamic team. But I mean, that's just goes to show. Look what it took the Patriots, how much they spent to do that, and look how much we did to be able to do that there. So. Great moves by Ron. I mean, I had to, after my thing, I'm still wearing my Rivera Strong shirt today to support what he's doing right now in that plan. And like you said, William Jackson was not on our radar.
I'm not going to pull up those text messages you sent me. I won't do that.
I'll call myself out then. I said, fuck Ron. I said it. I said something to that regard. But no, I was angry, again, using my Washington sounding board. And, like you said, the William Jackson, I don't know why he was not on either of our radars. I mean, he had a great game against, covering Terry McLaurin this year when we played them. And if you go back and watch the stats on him, he's a guy that can make the plays, make the interceptions. He's agile. He's 6 foot. He's taller. He's not one of these shorter guys. He's got speed, and he is going to be, I believe, our number one corner. And, and so I think having Kendall Fuller as your number 2 or 1B is what you want to call him. I mean, that just goes. I mean, like you said, our defense got that much better. And as far as as cornerbacks, I didn't know the cornerback market was going to be attainable. As far as our free agency, as far as what the prices, I was thinking about, my mind went to someone like Stephon Gilmore. And I thought he was going to go out there again and maybe get this big contract and set that free agency market where it's going to be worth going and getting a corner that year. So for someone like him, who I thought was going to command even a higher dollar amount, what a steal to be able to get him for that deal and bring him into Washington. And I know he's excited to come play for us. I know we're excited to have him here, and it's definitely an improvement after losing Ronald Darby to free agency, and we spent a couple million more, and we get so much more. Someone who's going to come and make an instant impact on that defense. So, yeah, this defense just got a whole heck of a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely, it has, and that probably changes a couple things in the draft we'll get to later. But finishing up here with some free agent signings, some quick news and notes. We re-signed David Sharp, who was a tackle that filled in for like 8 or 10 games for us this year. We re-signed Lamar Miller to a 1-year deal, who, after, we haven't had full word on Peyton Barber one way or the other, but it looks like if we're bringing Lamar Miller in, his days are probably numbered. And then as good as everything has been going so far, Washington had one bonehead signing that I cannot stand with, I cannot back, I cannot support. I don't know why this man has a job with us. Either he has some blackmail on Daniel Snyder or something, but we re-signed Dustin Hopkins to a 1-year deal. And so he's going to be missing 35-yard field goals for us for another year. And I just don't understand. I don't understand it. Don't understand it at all. We could have gone and gotten literally anybody else and it would have been fine, because we could have had, I would have taken, like, I don't know. I was going to say something I won't because I don't want to get canceled, but literally anybody else, because when Dustin Hopkins goes out there, it's like, I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea. I'd rather have a guy where it's like, let's see what happens, where it's just a different vibe, where it's like, okay, this guy will probably make it. Oh, he missed it. Okay, fine. Where Dustin Hopkins, like, he's probably going to miss, and then once in a while he makes it. Anyway, that's just me. We know how much disdain we have. This is a very anti-Dustin Hopkins podcast. Dustin, if you're listening, sorry, but make more field goals, guy, and then we'll have a little bit more support for you. But that was the last news note I had as far as free agency is, why the hell did we bring back Dustin Hopkins? We have the worst D-Hop in the league.
We do have the not the better D-Hop of the league. Yeah, that was kind of surprising there, and especially when there was guys like Matt Prater, who I forgot who he went and signed with the Cardinals. Someone who I think is a lot more reliable, also has a very big leg. Dustin Hopkins, I don't know what it is. It is his 40 time that he got in the combine that year, like the fastest kicker ever, I think, to run in the combine. Something like that. I don't know what it is, but to give him the benefit of the doubt and to give Ron, Ron, again, he's all about competition. I don't think that does not mean he won't bring somebody in to kick against him and to see if there's somebody else we can get. But at the bare minimum, we're not going to have, he knows what he's got. And Dustin Hopkins, maybe part of him gives him the benefit of the doubt, saying we at least have this, 1B right now, or maybe even plan 2. But so we know we got with him. Hopefully that injury will account for at least half those misses. And then we got ourselves an 80% kicker, basically what it is, 80-85% kicker. So, again, if that's the worst thing that we do in free agency, I think I'll be okay with that. But as you said, re-signing the tackle was huge. Someone had stepped in. Again, I think depth, we're so stuck on getting the right guy at tackle. I think depth, and I'm going to talk about that here, again, another preview, but when we're talking about our mock draft, I think depth is the biggest thing when we talk about, because, again, our line was playing great last year with the guys they had in that room, and there wasn't a clear hole. There wasn't a clear hole as the season went on in our line at all. I think the only hole that happened is when Morgan Moses came in when he shouldn't have, when he was injured that one play and got our guy destroyed. But that was just him wanting to go out there and compete. It wasn't a lack of ability. It was just. So, yeah, I think that was a great big signing there. Lamar Miller, we signed him late in the year last year off of, I think, the Jets practice squad. I forget whose it was. We never really got it. Knew what we got in him. I think, again, that adds depth. And again, we're just talking about depth, which is great because we're not talking about holes. We have one giant hole that we're going to talk about again when we rescale this draft, but We did a great job in free agency plugging these holes
Yeah, so far so good.
and building
Cannot
depth
complain.
and building depth as well is what I meant to say.
Yeah. Yeah, can't complain other than that Dustin Hopkins pick. Before we wrap up here with free agency, one guy that was released that I was kind of shocked that I wouldn't mind going after, young guy, but he could add a couple different skill sets to our team, and that's a Dory Jackson. Good corner, athletic, fast, speedy, and then what do we always talk about that we always need?
I don't know. A lot of things. A kicker. I don't know.
Special
Narrow it down.
teams, kick
Special
returners, punt
teams.
returners.
There we go.
And that's a guy that can do both, especially in the punt return game. He, like I said, just freakishly fast. He played everywhere for USC, and so as much as I think I was looking at I just had his deal pulled up here. He'd cost right around 8.5 million a year. But if he's able to help us not only defensively but also be that versatile, dynamic player that we've been missing in the return game, and I know the return game is kind of getting pushed out of football. Oh, okay, so I was way off. About 12.5 million. So kind of steep for a guy like that. But he's still young. I mean, 25 years old. First overall pick just 4 years ago, or excuse me, a first round pick just 4 years ago. Like I said, I know the return game's kind of getting pushed out of the game, but still, I mean, having a guy that can at least maybe give you the chance of breaking one every now and then, wouldn't be terrible to have. And then again, he's a guy that adding depth to that secondary and adding another athletic body to that secondary. Wouldn't hate it. Price tag may be a little high, but just somebody that I wouldn't mind going after. Is there anybody else that you have your eye on that you would, that if that would just kind of be the icing on the cake or the cherry on top?
As far as I don't adore Adoree as much as you do, especially for that price. But again, linebackers, the only ones I really wanted out there, and possibly they got signed by Kyle Van Noy, got signed by the Patriots yesterday or day before yesterday. So on defense, I don't know if there's anybody I'd rather, at safety. We still have Landon. We keep forgetting Landon Collins is coming back. We keep forgetting about that. So I don't know if we need any safety in a position of need right now. I think we have enough guys back there to handle that, especially some depth. But you go back over to the offensive side of the ball, and again, you get these offensive line. I mean, Trey Turner, I don't think he's signed anywhere yet. There's other depth positions or people we can bring in to compete. So I would still go back to offensive line. Just more depth, and that way we don't have to worry about that in the draft. So no names in particularly, just depth positions, I should say.
Yeah, Quan Alexander is the only other guy that comes to mind for me. Inside linebacker, again coming off an injury. He was a first-round pick just about 4 years ago as well. He didn't really live up to live up to expectations in Tampa Bay, and then went over to the Saints in a trade. I don't know why I always think he was a first-round pick. He was a fourth-round pick with San Francisco. So Samsonite, I was way off. But yeah, went over to New Orleans this year. Had an injury, so I think we could probably get him for a little bit cheaper. And I think he's a young guy. Again, 26 years old. He was drafted in 2015. So I don't know. That's just a guy that keeps jumping out to me of somebody that I would like to address as far as that inside linebacker position. He can do a little bit of everything. He can blitz. He can cover a little bit, and he's not going to have any too many balls going over his head like we mentioned we're used to. But so far, a big week of free agency for Washington. I mean, you love to see it. That's what we were waiting for. I don't know about you, but I was definitely getting a little antsy and a little like, come on, let's do something. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? We got all this money to spend and we're not doing anything. And then it comes out, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's like, what the hell? And then so slowly but surely it's, the William Jackson, it's the Curtis Samuel, the guys that we were really looking forward to. So I think so far so good. And like you said, if Dustin Hopkins is the worst signing we make, then we're going to be doing all right. But that's all I got for free agency. You got anything else?
No, that's about it. Good job, Ron.
Yeah, absolutely. So now heading back over to our mock draft. I don't have any changes today. I'm gonna revisit it maybe Monday show we might. But Joey, you have a couple changes that you're gonna be making to your mock draft.
Well, I mean, now, yes, 4. I think it changed my first 4 picks. Wow. And a lot of it has to do with just how the everyone's getting dropped in the rankings, and as I added, talking about depth positions and not really thinking, what's going to be available at 19. when we actually get there. And the more and more I mock draft, the more and more there's not a tackle available that we can get at 9. There's more of a tackle we can get at 28 or 29. So they're kind of slipping in that ring. We're in that no man's land. So I'm thinking, do we really need a tackle here in this first pick? And I think, well, what else can we get? Yes, I think there's someone we can get. We need to get ourselves a jock. And I think jock. And if you guys don't know who I'm talking about, he's a Notre Dame.
Like an athletic supporter?
No, we're talking out of Notre Dame. We're talking about. I'm gonna butcher his name. That's why his initials are JOK, and that is Jeremiah Awusu Koromoa.
Yeah.
And JOK, Jock, is his nicknames. Not a huge guy, 6'1", 217 pounds. I have to beef up just a little bit, I think, which he probably already knows and probably already doing. But a killer at inside linebacker. I think he would be a steal. I think he's going to be there at 19. I think that's someone that can come in instantly. You can put on that defense. Is going to make a difference. Can go sideline to sideline. Can cover. Is going to be able to do everything. And so in the first round, I'd love to have a linebacker, and I'm going. And I'm gonna flash up. I'm not gonna flash up the screen yet because I got a couple more changes there. But in the first round, we're going jock. We're getting ourselves a jock. Now,
and
the
that's
second
at the
round,
19th pick?
The 19th pick.
Okay.
19th
All right.
pick. All right. Second round. So you're thinking, all right, you got the linebacker now. We should go ahead and get that tackle now in the second round. Again, you're in no man's land there. You're reaching in a weird spot when it comes to tackles, and when you're in a no man's land for a while, there's going to be a huge drop off after you get those top tackles out of the first round, which I think are going to be gone before we even draft jock. So second pick, I'm going to. I have it written down somewhere here. Yes, because again, these names are getting weird. Big Pat Fryermuth, tight end out of Penn State.
Tight end in the second round, eh?
Tight end in the second round. And I'm going to tell you why. He's huge. He can block. But he also creates those crazy mismatches. We talk about Jason Witten. We talk about Ron Gronkowski. That's the kind of guy you're going to get. Huge tight end out of Penn State. We know those guys play football. And I think we should come here and play football with us. Now you're thinking, surely with this pick 74, he's got to have to pick a tackle now. No.
Got to.
We know we don't. I think we can still grab Jabril Cox right here and have two linebackers. Two. Then we got the 6'3" guy I've been talking about, and then we got the 6'1" guy, and we have both types of linebackers we need here. And I think with those guys and with what we have, our defense would be unstoppable. Mm-hmm. Unstoppable. So, yes, you knew it was going to happen. Fourth round, and I'll put up the graphic for everyone else to see now. Oh, you can't see it here. Oh, yeah, you can. You can see now. Now I'll get us a tackle. We'll go Spencer Brown out of Iowa. Still a great tackle. Still someone who can come in and start day one for us possibly. And we got all this other hole. And I'm going to tell them, now we are just filled. Now we are filled. You have 6'5" beast at tight end, 6'3" linebacker, or 6'2" linebacker out of LSU, the 6'1" starter out of Notre Dame. And then we have our tackle as well. I think this will make us, with them, as you can see it right after this, we still got Trey Sermon in the 5th, got another running back coming in, still got a safety coming in for some depth, a quarterback in Sam Ehlinger, and maybe a kicker, that Riley Patterson, to come in for our little free agency mishap. So that's what I had to do there. I think it's time, we start looking at Jock a little bit closer.
Okay. I mean, hey, I'm not going to be one to argue. I definitely like Big Ten tackles, Iowa tackles. You're always going to get, anybody out of Nebraska, Iowa, that area, you're going to get guys that just know how to play offensive line. So I don't hate that move at all. I'll have to look at the Penn State boy a little bit more. Not super on my radar, but obviously I've loved the Jabril Cox pick from the jump, and taking, like I said, addressing needs and being able to fill holes at the same time as you are adding depth. I mean, that's kind of the key to the draft right there, right? So, and also getting guys that are impact starters from the jump. So, like I said, I don't hate it. I respect it. I respect it for sure.
All right. Well, that's all that, once this free agency week happened, my mind starts going, and it's like a Rubik's Cube, it's like you're trying to get that perfect color on each side. It's all right. We got to mix it up a little bit now. They just mixed it up on me. I got to put it back into bring that, the homeostasis for the feeling of our team.
That yeah, the homeostasis. Everyone knows that's so important for a team.
And
But
for everything, homeostasis is everything. You know that, right?
absolutely.
Life is about the constant return to homeostasis, and then that's what we're trying to do here. So that's all we've been trying to do since the Super Bowl, a couple days before you were born. We blew up. We went high up here, and we went way down here, and it's been a constant struggle to return back to that level of homeostasis.
All right, let's do it. 2021, the year of homeostasis for the Washington football team. What do you say?
Let's got it.
All right, that'll do it for us today on this beautiful Friday. Again, always make sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube, ring that notification bell. Check us out anywhere you find your podcasts, Google, Apple, Spotify, as well as SoundCloud. Check us out on Twitter at AlliesBEL, and you can find us on Facebook as well, where we post all of our shows, Allies Behind Enemy Lines podcast. Feel free to give us a shout there, or on Twitter, all that good stuff. Until next week, until Monday, we appreciate you guys for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, tell a friend, tell some family. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully maybe we have some more signings come Monday. We'll see. Like I said, there's not much we can do more, to make it even better, but I'm sure we'll find a way if the possibility is there. But until then, again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on Monday. Y'all take care. Have a great weekend.